Welcome to the New River Stadium in North London. It's an unusual setting for the 13-a-side game, but today a Rugby League revolution takes place. Welcome to North America. So here we are, the New River Stadium, and this is where it all begins in earnest for the Toronto Wolfpack at the home of the London Skolars. Unusual setting for what is undoubtedly an unusual story, and boy, are we looking forward to this next few weeks, next few months, and even the next few years. We had the first game at Hull. That was only a friendly. We saw them last week, of course, against Siddle. That was the Challenge Cup. Today is when the real business starts. This is where the Toronto Wolfpack League begins, right here, right now. Their director of rugby, Brian Noble, is alongside us. Aaron Murphy is with us as well, as he will be throughout this story over this next year or so, and a Torontonian voice as well. So we get an air of authenticity. That's not to say that you're not authentic, Brian, because you are authentic. How excited are you for what we see today?
Very excited. We've got the real feel of an event here today. I've been walking around the stadium and just been into the hospitality boxes. Everybody's excited. Some new people have come to the game. We've brought a new audience here today. It's our first league hit out. It's on the journey that you described earlier. So it couldn't be more exciting. We travelled down yesterday and it's got all the feel for a big day.
There's some Canadians here. So it's not just you, and not just you and Eric. There's some other Canadians here as well. But how's this playing in Toronto?
Well, it's unbelievable, and we've talked a little bit off camera. There's 7 other professional sports teams in Toronto.
Yeah.
But all the buzz and all the ink seems to be going to the Wolfpack. It's a testament to what Eric Perez has done, the social media crew, but also it's the signing of players like Fui, Mui, Mui, and the generate. Because I got a text from my college roommate who now, we went to school in Toronto. He lives in Australia, and he's going, who's Eric Perez? Who are these guys? Because they're all over the papers. I mean, Australia, New Zealand, Canada are a buzz. And with those 7 sports teams ahead of the Wolfpack, 8 professional sports teams, the buzz is going there, and you know what? A couple of wins, and it's going to get even bigger.
We're loving your Canadian pronunciation of Fui, Mui, Mui, by the way. It's Fui,
I was going to say, it's easy for him to say.
Fui, Moi, Moi, and starts today as well. We're going to get carried away with Toronto today, but we're going to have a lot of mentions of London Skolars, because, I mean, Toronto is very much a team that is spreading the rugby league word across the world, but London Skolars have been doing a fantastic job down here for the last 20 years or so as well.
And they've done a terrific job today. You know, Hector McNeil and Marco just been in there in the hospitality with it. They've pulled out the stops. They've got flyers out there. They've got pre-match entertainment. They're showcasing. I watched the Nines game with a team from Brixton playing here and all the London. So they're absolutely playing their part in developing the game and making it. They know the secret that's going to come out very, very shortly in Toronto, that this game's a wonderful game, and I've been at the forefront of development down here, so I'm pleased for them today. We're in front of a big crowd and a big occasion. Yeah,
it was interesting. The game that was streamed last week, the number of people who said on social media didn't know this game existed, Canadians, but wow, now we do. We will be watching every game from the Toronto Wolfpack. We'll be live here on Premier Sports throughout the year. This is the way the fixtures are looking. Next week up to Whitehaven, that'll be a test one. It March the 12th, and then back here down to London for the Challenge Cup game. But then in a fortnight's time, 3 weeks time, Keighley Cougars will be hosting Doncaster on April the 9th, and there they go, the North Wales Crusaders, before Toronto return down under, or not down under, back across the Atlantic. It feels like down under. Oxford, Newcastle Thunder, Barrow Raiders. So all those matches coming up, and as we said, whether they're being played here or whether they're being played in Toronto, you can see them right here on Premier Sports, and across Canada as well. You'll be able to catch up on the channel you're watching now. You'll be able to catch up with all the Toronto action throughout the year. And if you are new to Premier Sports, then this is what we have to offer. Every game from the NRL, State of Origin Series, every game from the Rugby League World Cup at the back end of the year, Rugby League Back Chat, and the NRL footy game. What you're watching at the moment is live preview, and it's free preview. When we get the game underway at 2:30, then that goes behind the paywall. So make sure you get on to Premier Sports. It'll only take a couple of minutes to actually register on Premier Sports, so get on as quickly as you possibly can. and then you'll be able to watch the game this afternoon, which we're looking forward to. Now, it's not just about Toronto. There's a lot of other teams involved in League One, which we'll be covering all year. Who do you see, from a Toronto point of view, who do you see as your main rivals this year?
Well, we have to give everybody the respect they deserve. There's some not only traditional clubs out there are new clubs out there on the development front, so we're going to have to make sure that we're very, very ready for everybody. But if you say you to go to places like Whitehaven and Workington, up to the other side of the country in Newcastle, and then the heartlands of Keighley and Doncaster, so Gloucester, all goals, so that the expansionists and the traditionalists are mixed up in this division. And I promise you, should we not take them all very, very seriously, we will come unstuck. We understand the aspects of our squad, we understand the dynamics of our team, and that most teams will want to be knocking us off, so we have to cope with that as well.
Well, these are the fixtures this weekend in League One. This is the way they're looking, and you can see some tasty games there. Barrow Raiders against York City Knights, Oxford against Hemel, Doncaster against Coventry, Hunslet against the University of Gloucestershire, all goals, Keighley Cougars against the North Wales Crusaders. Other games there as well, the South Wales Ironmen against Whitehaven, and that's all coming up. Workington Town against Newcastle, which is very nearly a local derby, isn't it? Workington against Newcastle. It's just across the A69, I think it is. So they'll be looking forward to that. And London Skolars, not to underestimate them here. Jermaine Coleman, we've got to give a word for the fact that he's been here for 10 years. I think he's been head coach now for 3 years, but he's been at the club for 10 years, and he's looking for a testimonial if anyone's listening from the RFL. But who do you pick out? There's one or two familiar names in there, aren't there? Lamont Bryan being the obvious one.
Lamont Bryan played a lot of, I think he's played Super League out there in his time, and I just think he's going to be their go-to person. His experience and the fact that he's played at the highest level of football. Urjan Delapi, who I had the privilege to coach, he was at the London Broncos when I was helping young Andrew Henderson out there, down there. So there are a couple of big blokes that you've got to keep your eye on. They're very keen. They're going to have to play as a team. Well, I'm not trying to underestimate the task that they have today. We have a good team at the Toronto Wolfpack, and multi-dimensional as well. And so, but what better challenge would you want? You know, there's Jermaine Coleman on screen that's been around for 10 years and thoroughly deserves a testimonial if there's anybody going to give him one. And you know, it can be soul searching when you're out on a limb and you're in another part of the world and you don't think you're getting the support from the rugby league. But the things that they've done both here at the Skolars and other parts of the development portfolio, it is an unbelievable credit. Okay, well, we're looking forward to watching this game, but what are the coaches thinking ahead of the match? Well, a short while ago, Aaron caught up with both of the coaches.
London Skolars head coach Jermaine Coleman joins us now pitch side, and first game and a home fixture against the Toronto Wolfpack. A lot of hype about the Wolfpack coming in, but what do you say to the dressing room today just to calm down and get ready to play?
I just think it's an opportunity for us today. You know, as you said, there's a lot of hype surrounding Toronto, and so there should be, and we're just hopeful that we can jump on the back of that and really show them what London has to offer and what we're doing down here, and I hope that really, you know, comes out well on the screen.
No doubt you probably looked at some of the film from their game in Hull back in January and then in Siddle in the Challenge Cup. A couple of things that you've noticed that you're going to have to be very wary of today against the Wolfpack.
I just, you know, they're a quality side, and Paul has signed some really good players, and you know, he plays a game really expansive, and you see that from his time that he spent at Lee, and obviously he's doing that now with Toronto. So I think we're going to need to be aware all over the pitch. They've got lots of threats. I don't think there's one particular thing that we can pick out. You know, it's just, as I said, it's an opportunity for our boys to stand up and be counted, and hopefully they'll take that with two hands.
And for our viewers, a couple of the key players for the Wolfpack that you keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think you know, obviously Keelty at the back is a real threat, and Bob Brown at hooker is a real smart player. You know, lots of experience there. I'm not sure the halfback's name. The six, Wallace. You know, he looks really good with ball in hand, and his running game is really strong. So, but again, you know, they've got threats all over the pitch. They've got Greg Worthington in one centre, Ryan Hall playing. So you know, again, it's not something we can focus on one player. Ultimately, they're 17 blokes turning up to play against 17 blokes, and we'll give it our best shot.
Thanks for taking the time, and good luck today.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Wolfpack head coach Paul Rowley joins us now pitch side, and a couple of wins now since January 22nd when we saw you in Hull. That was a good game, obviously, and then a win in Siddle last week in the Mud Bowl, a little bit of different conditions. What can we expect today from the London Skolars?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting start. We've obviously started off with Hull, big pitch, great side. Then we've gone to Siddle. Terrible pitch, tough side, and today we've got a really tight pitch and a really big side, so you can expect probably a little bit of a slugfest. You certainly can't go round them on this pitch. They recruit heavily and in size. They've got a big team, so it's very much through them, not around them today. But it'll be real tough. Game 0 usually low scoring at first for that reason.
All the build-up and all sort of the hype and the preparation, it comes down to now the players must be chomping at the bit. I'm sure the backroom staff is as well.
Yeah, we just want to get into the rhythm and almost take a little bit of the attention away from us, which I'm sure the off-field wanted to keep it going, obviously. But our boys just want to get into the grind now, and we take on board all the rubbish about the spend that we've had and all that, which is I think people pick a number and times it by 2 to just add pressure to us. But they're a chill bunch, and it is what it is. It's sport, so we're happy, we're grounded, and we're just kicking on.
A couple of key players for our viewers to keep an eye on today.
From Skolars, they've got a big set. They've got Williams there, and they've got Louis Robinson, who's a Canadian guy who's particularly aggressive and doesn't mind a little bit of a niggle in there. So add to that, they've got 3 Broncos players on dual contract for them today. So I'm sure they'll be looking to impress and force their way into their parent club.
Thanks for taking the time, and good luck today.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So Jermaine Coleman and Paul Rowley with their thoughts beforehand. Aaron's going to go down to the pitch side now to get all the interviews during the game. Brian stays up alongside with me, and if you're not yet subscribed to Premier Sports, here's your last chance to get on there, because we're going to be encrypted after this break. But a bit of history to come. It's London Skolars against Toronto Wolfpack, and it's next.
We've had worse, trust me. We've been some places. Yours are there, Dave. Oh, yeah. I had Cass the other night. So welcome back to the New River Stadium, Tottenham. We're on White Hart Lane, as it happens, not that far away from Tottenham Hotspur's football ground, but a decent crowd in here today. I think they're looking for the biggest ever crowd that they've had here watching rugby league, just under 2,000 expected, which is more or less capacity at this stadium. It's a 4G pitch as well, so that should ensure we see a really nice, clean, fast game here today. And Toronto Wolfpack come with a big reputation that they look to try and earn in their first league match this afternoon. Haven't played a league fixture so far. Craig Hall is out there just to getting himself ready to lead them out. The captain, Fui Moi Moi, just behind them as well. So here they come onto the field. Dave Williams leaning out the London Skolars. Big day for them, because as much as all the talk has been about Toronto into this big match, and you understand why, it is still a very important game for London Skolars here this afternoon, with a chance for them to take a prize scalp at the very beginning of this new league campaign. Brian Noble is the Toronto
Director of Rugby, is alongside us as well, as he will be very often throughout this season, to give us an insight, not just what's happening on the field, but what's been happening in the camp as well. And what has the mood been like in the camp this week after that really tough Challenge Cup tie last week?
Well, really excited about the start of the league season, which is clearly on in a few moments' time, but we sublimed to the ridiculous in many respects. You had the mountainside of Siddle that was full of mud and driving rain and inclement weather conditions, and a tight tussle that most people would have watched and been excited by. We're hoping to play a whole lot better football today, and the 4G pitch, as you mentioned, will hopefully give the Wolfpack a chance to show their wares, but they understand the nature of the challenge. If I'm a Skolars player with a smattering of ex-London Broncos players that played an element of Super League, yep, they're going to aim up for sure.
Absolutely. Toronto are the team in white. This is the way they are lining up, or their opponents are lining up today. Melling, the fullback, Nash, Pearce, Paul, Brown and Winfield, the three quarters, Lawrence and Bichet in the halves. Front row of Sykes, Pointer and Williams, the captain. Brian Vervega, he's an interesting character, has played under Wayne Bennett in a previous incarnation, and Davis locking them all together at loose forward. We'll tell you a few of the stories as the match goes on. The substitutes bench for the Skolars: Louis Robinson, John Delapi, Eddie Mbaraga and Billy Driver. Delapi, the Albanian. And this is the way Toronto line up: Lola Tagagai, the fullback, Panel, Worthington, Hall and Kay, the three quarters, Wallace and Jacks, the halves, a front row, Moy, Bezic, Emmett, and a back row of Dixon, Laithwaite and Bussey. And on the bench for Toronto today, Gary Wheeler, Adam Sidlow, Steve Crossley and Richard Whiting. Our referee today is John McMullen, the man in charge in the middle, and he'll get us underway in just a few moments. The sun is out. It was absolutely lashing down for Toronto's first competitive game last week, but the sun is out for their very first league encounter here today in North London. The kick downfield, first touch for Emmett to bring it forward, and immediately they're going wide with this first set, and Hall is looking for a way forward, and I think that is something we'll see a lot of this year, isn't it?
Yeah, expansive start from the Wolfpack. A running and passing team would like to be great, and then the tough stuff that comes next with somebody like Fui Moi, as we see there.
Up to that 40-metre mark already. It's a smart strip they're wearing today, as Emmett takes it forward again towards that halfway line. The white shirts and the black shorts, it's a fairly clean strip as well, isn't it? There's just one sponsor's name on it.
That's right, and I think that's a vision of the management of the club there. They're looking to be clean, to be sharp, to be slick. It's got a wolf imprinted on the front of the shirt to entice sales, and a good opening set from the Wolfpack.
Here comes Rhys Jacks, who puts it high. Those who've been watching, that's a good take from the fullback, Melling. Those who've been watching the NRL on Premier Sports this weekend would have seen Rhys Jacks' brother Riley making his debut for Melbourne, didn't he?
Yeah, we tried to sign Riley Jacks to complement his brother here, but a very, very good player in his own right, and has got the gig with Melbourne.
And got to go in that first week. So now a chance for Skolars to show their wares, to bring it forward, and they get a penalty. So there's a bit of a reliever in these early stages. A chance for them to find touch and bring it forward. Michael Sykes, the big man.
Well, the Wolfpack trying to show their dominance physically against a part-time team. Remember, the Wolfpack are a full-time team, but broke the rules there, and a clear penalty to the Skolars.
There's one or two names in there to look out for. The number 20, the fullback, Jake Melling, ex-Warrington Academy. He's been playing the last couple of years with the English touch rugby side, including at a recent World Cup. It's taken up towards the halfway line. Ben Pointer is here. He's on dual reg from London Broncos, and an injury. The physicality of Toronto.
I think Brian copped one there for his troubles, carrying the ball really strong. Ricocheted out of a tackle, but picked up an injury in the process. Good footwork off his left foot, pushing between two players.
Well, that's something they can do well without, isn't it? London Skolars is to lose anybody so early in the game. He's okay, quick rub at the back of the neck, and coach Jermaine Coleman looks on from the sidelines, a little flustered, no doubt, by that early injury, but his side are up and running again. Matt Davis, another on dual reg from London Broncos, just inside the Toronto half. Bichet brings it back with a pass on the inside, high tackle, so another penalty here. And discipline for Toronto is not the best at the moment.
Well, it's the footwork that troubles Jake Emmett there, I think. Cops him round the melon. But it's great footwork. It's the Skolars have clearly worked on that in practice. They're going to use their footwork to try and dismantle the footwork defensively of the Wolfpack.
We're going live around the world today. Wherever you're watching, welcome along. It's an unusual rugby league setting here in North London. And it's an unusual rugby league fixture as well, isn't it? London Skolars against Toronto. Who would have thought? But here we are. This is the new reality of rugby league as Davis takes it in. Matt Davis for the Skolars. The side in red. Pointer at dummy half. Left to Bichet. Bichet puts it back again. They're going through hands towards that 10-metre mark. Charlie Lawrence involved in there as well, the number 9. But here's Williams with a drive forward.
He's a big boy, isn't he? Kept his legs pumping there. They had to aim up there, the Wolfpack defence, and stop his charge.
He's a captain of the club and he carries that armband with pride. Bichet putting the kick into the corner. QLT is over there, Quentin Lula-Tagagai, and collects it just safely in play.
Great set from the Skolars. They've tested the Wolfpack's defence to the max there. Tagagai had to get across and clean up in the corner. Difficult place to start a set when you've got an opposition that's ramping up and trying to get stuck into you.
Well, the wind is howling here. It really is blowing hard, and I think Toronto are playing into the wind. But look, Fui Moi Moi is running like the wind. A storm hits that Skolars defence, and Fui is up to the halfway line, living up to his star billing. Across it goes from Wallace. Here's QLT chiming in and gets the pass away. And Liam Kay is going to be chopped down inside the Skolars half. Jacks again with a high kick. This might catch in the breeze. Melling has to be sure, and is, the former Warrington Academy player.
Well, from one end of the field to the other, QLT caught in the corner trying to get out there. Amazing break from Fui Moi Moi, and now the Skolars have to do the self-same thing and ruck the ball out from their own line.
There's Bussey with a big lift in the tackle again. The Skolars are doing it tough here because Toronto are making it tough in these early stages. Slowish play the ball. Skolars back on their feet and looking for a way out here if they can. Michael Sykes, 6 or 7 years here at the Skolars, one of those who came through at Leeds Met University. There's a lot in this side who played at that Leeds Met University. A little bit of a fumble by Kay, but QLT is back there to pick it up. It went backwards. And away he goes, QLT with the footwork. Terrific stuff, up towards the halfway.
They're making a few breaks, the Wolfpack, on their initial carries. See Moi Moi and now QLT go through the ranks.
This is Kay again. That's a good offload. Pownall is there in support. Bezic rolling into dummy half. Dixon wants an involvement here. And they're making the yards, the team in white, and they get a penalty as well. A little bit too much involvement.
I think it was Bichet that hung on a little bit too long there, put his hand on the ball, and unfortunately led to a penalty for the Wolfpack. So they're going to have to do it tough here, the Skolars, and defend their own chalk.
Here's Emmett, pops it back to Wallace, and the pass away by Jacks is knocked down by a London hand. Referee says, yep, it was a knock-on. He's seen that.
You called it right, Dave, and the referee called it right as well. Knocked down by a London player in the middle.
Going to hold up again here because of an injury. So what have you made of these early stages then, Brian Noble?
Yeah, the Skolars hanging on in there at times, but creating their own problems as well. They've done really well offensively. Bichet pulling the strings and bringing people like Brian around on the drop-off type of plays, coming against the grain, trying to wrong foot the Toronto defence. But the Toronto team with the ball, trying to promote the ball, trying to run and press, trying to offload the ball and take away the anger from this Skolars team early in the game. And by anger, I mean determination to do well today.
And there's Paul Rowley, who's standing not far away from us on this gantry. You can see what's making the noise. The plastic sheeting in the background is blowing away in the wind. It is quite blustery at the moment. I suggest it's not too bad down there on the field.
Well, I mean, just for our viewers now, the dynamics of this field, if you look at the field, it's not a very wide field, so the quality of your skill and the precision of your passing has to ensure. It looks like there's an injury here. It doesn't look good at all, does it?
No.
Is it Williams? I can't see who it is.
Dave Williams is Going to have to come off. Louis Robinson is waiting on the sidelines. Now, he's an interesting character, Louis Robinson.
He is.
Ex-London Broncos Academy, but a Canadian international. How did he go under the radar?
Well, he didn't. We had a look at him and the dynamics didn't quite work out. We thought we'd got some other people to complement our team from Canada. You know, we have Chad Bain, the Torontonian, and Tom Denson, who's also played for Canada, so we were a bit flush in those kind of ranks.
Well, here they come through Hall, and Hall makes a space for himself, Craig Hall, and scores Toronto's first league try. A celebration for Craig Hall. Toronto up and running in this League One, and an early blow to stake their claim for a little rugby league stardom.
Well, for the rules and for our viewers, it's 10 metres now that you have to stand back as a defensive player from the scrum, and that's just too much space for Craig Hall. He backs himself, arms his legs, he's got great speed and just runs around the defender and finishes underneath the sticks. Great score, Craig Hall.
And we've said it before, I mean, he was dazzling in Super League last year, wasn't he? You know, at the very heights of rugby league, he was a dazzling entertainer. Toronto somehow managed to nick him from Wakefield.
Nick him?
Nick him. And he somehow finds himself playing at this level. He's going to be a razzle-dazzler all year, isn't he, Craig Hall?
Well, we hope so. Part of our development aspirations are to play an entertaining brand of football. The Skolars need to get used to that. It's not all about biff and barge. You know, we'll need to play biff and barge at times. You know, you've highlighted the challenge we have through the year going to traditional grounds as well. But Craig Hall's a very, very good rugby league player.
So there's Hall's kick to add to his try. So 6 points to 0. Toronto have this early lead here in North London on a blustery afternoon. And a good start as well, as far as the Wolfpack are concerned. So we're about to get things underway again. Charlie Lawrence, another of the London Broncos link, the ex-London Broncos junior, with a kick downfield, and here come the Wolfpack again with the charge.
It's really important that the Skolars mettle themselves now and restrict the territory, but people like this carrying the ball, that's difficult. He's boxed off, he's a challenge to tackle. He's Fui Fui Moi Moi, and Jake Emmett himself there, his second carry of the set, taking the team forward. But they're handling this well, the Skolars. They're going really well. They're going to have to concentrate for long periods of this game.
Bezic wants to get on with it, and he does. Bussey now gets the ball away, but no way through the Skolars' defence from Rhys Jacks's point of view. So here comes Bezic again, looking to that right-hand side. Laithwaite now, putting it back. There's a bit of space for Pownall. It closes quickly. Has to go searching down the middle again, trying to stand up the Canadian Louis Robinson, but Robinson does his stuff and makes the tackle. Wider it goes. The chip by Wallace. It's more than a chip. It's a steepler that has the fullback backing back. Jake Mellin caught the ball in the field of play, then went back under the sticks, so he has to concede the dropout from there.
Well, two things. Mellin does brilliantly well first to catch the ball. He's under pressure. He's got 3 or 4 white jumpers hounding down to close him down. He catches the ball, but then gets belted by the kicker himself, Wallace, and so he could do the only thing that could happen to him. He was caught in goal, so it's a goal line dropout.
It's a very dominant start here from Toronto, which is probably what we expected. They are a side who are tipped to do extremely well this year. Emmett, 30 metres away. That clock you're looking at, by the way, in the bottom left-hand side, it's not the official clock, it's time from kickoff. So when it gets to 40, we will then be going into added time. It's just the way things work here today. Bezic, a dummy half again. Emmett to his right-hand side. Oh, it's slow again. Foot tangled in there. And the referee, in the end, has given a penalty for London.
Please. Well, he's adjudicated that Dixon was messing around at the ruck and not getting up to play the ball, but clearly you could see, I mean, surely you could see that the ball was caught or his foot was caught. And anyway, penalties are Skolars. Get on with it, the Wolfpack.
It's a big cheer because I think the ball just hit somebody on the head.
It might have been the touch judge.
He's okay anyway. He's not falling. Little step taken forward by Davis up to that 40-metre mark. Skolars trying to build something from here. Robinson goes driving in, chatting to his coach Jermaine Coleman this week, and he was saying Hope he has a good game. I hope he don't play too well. I hope he don't play too well, and Toronto wants to take him away with his Canadian heritage. Ball's been dropped, picked up by QLT. He immediately looks to launch an attack down that left-hand side. It comes to nothing. So let's go down sideline. Aaron Murphy's got news for us. Aaron?
Yeah, the captain of the London Skolars, he's come out. His right shoulder is being looked at heavily. Looks like a separated shoulder, but he's refusing to go to the locker room. He wants to stay on the bench. He's receiving treatment there, so we'll keep an eye on that. But what you'd expect from the captain, he doesn't want to leave pitch side despite what looks like a separated shoulder, Dave.
They're tough lads, aren't they?
They are tough lads.
They don't mind a knock.
Nothing but admiration for rugby league players. Do it tough.
Here's Laithwaite, creeping inside at 30-metre line again. Bezik's going to milk that right-hand side. Hall's quick hands to Pownall. Pownall cuts back inside. Jake Mellings left clutching at thin air. Pownall has a second Toronto try. They're beginning to cruise here with just short of 14 minutes played.
Well, I think the Skolars are going all right, but you've got to stay alert, attention. Bezic spies the short side with that man Hall again. Him and Pownall work their magic, create some space for Johnny Pownall, who finishes really, really well. You've got to stay alive there, the Skolars, in relation to the short side and right across the park and right across the field. So it's an element of concentration that's required as well, because they had the numbers there to defend that play, but that's about the sublime skill of probably Craig Hall and Bob Bezic.
Well, again, players that are involved at Super League level, haven't they? Bezic started all those, what is he, 32 now? Bob Bezic started at Wigan, didn't he? And played at Widnes and Halifax, and then more latterly at Lee. Last few years, Irish international, so much experience in those boots.
I think the question mark with Bezic is, why has he not played a heck of a lot of Super League football? Because from what I've seen, he's clearly good enough, and has been good enough.
Well, there's never a doubt about whether he's going to be fit enough, because he's your conditioner as well, isn't he, Bob Bezic? So if he's not fit enough, he's no excuses. Hall puts it over, 2 out of 2 for him, and 12 points to nil. The lead now for Toronto.
Well, the Skolars are doing really well here. They had a couple of penalties, got them to the right parts of the field, but they're going to have to aim up for the majority of this game, so it's a tough ask for them, for sure.
So Mr. McMillan in the middle, just making a note of the scorers and waiting for the game to restart again here. 14 minutes played when that try was scored, 12-0 for the Wolfpack. They're doing their stuff at the moment. And they're looking to set up position again.
Good
here.
tackle from the Skolars.
Here's Bezic. Fui will have another drive forward again. Sure, he'll be being spelled, or they'll be thinking about spelling him before long. Fui moi moi. Bussy trundling it forward and taking on those 3 defenders face to face, and still working hard until eventually they wrestle him into a stop position, and they have to start again. Emmett now fronting up, just putting his nose over the halfway line. Bezic waits at dummy half. Here's Laithwaite thundering forward, and shoulders coming from all sides to rattle him in the rib cage. Bezic again. QLT, Hall with a little step, bounces away from Lamont Bryan. It's a rather wasteful pass, but it was a touch from a London player. An apology from Ben Pointer. That has given Toronto head and feet at the scrum.
And it's fast football, and the Skolars having to get used to this pace of all these really good Halls having a wow of a game, and Pointer sticks his paw out there because he's frightened what's coming on the end of it, and I think they get a rest, get to the scrum and think, wow, we nearly copped another one there, so we have to bend our backs in this set and defend our chalk. And remember, it's 10 metres back now that the defenders for the Skolars have to go, so some attacking opportunities for the Wolfpack.
It's Moi Moi who's standing at 6 out of the scrum, providing that first thunderous hit forward. Less than 15 away. Here's Dixon, looking to dummy his way through, but he's held up 5 yards out, and Toronto stand poised again. Back it comes to Wallace, across the line. Bussy rolling in and trying to get the arms free. Frustrated for the moment, but you suspect that it might not be for long, as Bezic to Jacks. Here's to Gargai, who's stepping and weaving and dodging and working some of that magic, and in the end he almost faded into submission to take the tackle. 6th tackle coming up. Fui moi moi, putting the bumpers up, knocking them all away. Toronto have a third already. Fui is the man who's in the lights at the moment. And Toronto leads 16-0.
Well, that's just too hard for the London Skolars defence. Tugogai nearly gives himself up, but Bezic finds Moy with only one defender in front of him, and unfortunately that defender wasn't able to aim up and stop him, and who could? He's been hard work for the whole of his career, and so he sees the try line that close and he's going to go for it. He did go for it, and boom, watch this from Fui. Exactly. Oh, is that what you said?
Oh, spelled with at least 3 Fs, I think.
I think the expression there is when you're on the defensive line is, mate, do your best.
How's he playing, by the way? Didn't he take someone's head off last week in the cup?
That's unfair.
Is it?
Yeah.
He was sent off though, for the first time in his career.
Prejudice. First time in a 15-year glittering, spangled career.
Hall's kick. But seriously, he has got a disciplinary charge to answer, hasn't he? Which will be held when? Next Tuesday?
On Tuesday, and we're confident that we have a case. But we clearly don't think he's done the things that he's alleged to have done, but we'll have to stand our corner at the judiciary.
I'm asking a question because a lot of people would have seen him being sent off last week and wondering why he hasn't been dealt with, but it's because it's next Tuesday. There's a Maple Leaf, Toronto Maple Leaf. They're the ice hockey team in Toronto, aren't they? I tell you what, if Toronto eclipse, if the Wolfpack eclipse the Maple Leafs in the next couple of years in terms of popularity, that'll be job done.
Well,
you can dream.
Mountains are there to be climbed.
Yeah. It's certainly been a terrific start. Paul Rowley, the head coach, looking on. Charlie Lawrence, that's a kick-off that takes a bit of a diversion, and Toronto with a little bit of a problem here. Emmett collects it, and a good restart from the Skolars.
Yeah, great restart from the Skolars. They've got to find any advantages they can, and they find one there with the bounce of the ball, and now they've got to defend that. Got the Wolfpack where they want them in their own half.
It's a slip by Dixon, but 3 tackles has taken Toronto 25 metres out. Now Emmett again, that big powerful unit down the middle, very much a north to south player, isn't he? Does the job, tucks the ball away, gets downfield. Bezic to that left-hand side, testing the mettle of the Skolars defence out there. Worthington is going to be held up on the halfway line. 5th tackle gone. Bezic on the 6th. They're trying to play it on the 6th, and a kick from Dixon pings off a leg or two, but Skolars have it back again.
Yeah, ordinary kick from Dixon. Decided to work the short side. We get it out of their own half, make plenty of metres, but come up with an ordinary kick at the end of that from Andrew Dixon.
Simona Vavega is the second rower who's just taken in. He's a former Brisbane Broncos junior, trained full-time under Wayne Bennett when he was there in 2007, 2008. So he'll have a bit of pedigree to bring to the picture for the London Skolars this year. He was here last year, but he didn't have a visa, so he was working in the bar, I think, and he's running the club. Couldn't play, but he's got his visa through last week, so he can play here today. And there's good play from Davies, spotted that there was probably a player or two in an offside position, ran at them to draw the referee's attention, and gets a penalty here.
Yeah, smart play from Davies. Cute cookie there. Spies that Jack Bussey's offside. Jack Bussey gets back involved in the tackle and pings them.
So it'll be the first chance to set up camp close to the Wolfpack line here. They're going to take the tap. Here's Vavega again. Oh, he's lost it first time out, but the referee, yep, he has said knock on. But was the first knock on? Yep, first knock on was from Toronto, so it will still be possession for the Skolars.
From a scrum this time for our viewers. Knock on, adjudicated both ways by the referee.
Having a good game so far, isn't he, Mr. McMillan?
Yeah, he's going all right. I like anonymous referees.
Anonymous referee. Well, we'll not name check him again then.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, they do a great job and they deserve their day in the sun and their recognition for what they do for our great game. But I like it when they referee a game and they're not a part of it.
Yeah, we don't see them. Well, we'll have to see him there. Ball stolen. Penalty. Repeat set again here, if you like. They've not got far into many of the sets so far, but they've got another chance here to test the resolve of this Wolfpack defence. Lamont Bryan in there straight away, the German-born Jamaican international. I think he qualifies for the United States as well. He could be anything. Here's Melling now with a step. Lovely player with ball in hand, with all that touch rugby experience behind him. 10 metres out. Vega once more, hard and direct. Held up, less than 10. So into dummy half goes Pointer. Davis was to his left, he's gone behind him. It's now with Robinson. Wouldn't he love to score a try against the compatriot team? Pointer again, swinging it left. Oh, the head snaps back from Sykes with the ferocity of the tackle. He's got the pass away, but it's fumbled. And this is going to be in Toronto's favour this time.
Well, the Skolars were trying to biff and barge their way across. I think Fui certainly squared up. Was it Robinson he squared up? No, it wasn't.
So a chance for both sets of players. And just to explain for those who might be watching for the first time today this game of rugby league, what is going on with the legs and the lungs of both sets of players at this stage, 23 minutes in?
Well, the game's been a fast game, and it's in play a lot now because of the new rules. The ball's not being kicked out a lot, so the ball's in play for long periods, and so the energy systems were 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes into the game, so the part-timers of the London Skolars will be feeling the heat, and this is probably where the Wolfpack now, with Crossley off the bench to show his prowess as well, will probably gain the advantage as the game goes on, with it being in play for so long.
Bezic collects, and out it goes to Wallace, and Jacks is involved as well, and the pass to Hall, but as he sachets forward, those in red are ready and waiting. The play the ball's an untidy one. Yep, referee had to give that. Untidy play. That you can't kick the ball forward at a play the ball, you've got to roll it backwards. And he didn't quite do that.
Well, in many respects, if he adjudicated that he had kicked it forward, it would have been a penalty. So he's now saying that he's knocked the ball on, and so it's a scrum instead. So Craig Hall can find himself a little bit lucky there in relation to what he got away with or didn't.
18-0 down. The Wolfpack leading with some comfort, but at 18-0 down, London Skolars are possibly having just their best spell of the game after that spell of pressure at the other end, and here they are with another chance to feel the ball in their hands. Sam Nash.
Good carry from Nash, wasn't it? Used his legs, kept pumping, took his team forward.
Here's a Kiwi, here's Nash. Here's Brian up to the halfway line. Aaron Murphy down on the touchline.
Thanks, Dave. Dave Williams, the captain of the London Skolars. Despite his protestations, the Skolars captain is making his way to an ambulance, confirmed that his shoulder is popped out of the socket, separated shoulder, his arm is being cradled, and he will not play a further part in this one.
Doesn't that in one line sum up your rugby league player? He's arguing about he doesn't want to go in the ambulance. Well, your arm's hanging off, Dave. Get in that ambulance.
You sounded like that was a Monty Python sketch. Yeah. The Black Knight.
The Black Knight. I want to go back out there. You can't, your arm's hanging off. There's a kick that is diffused very, very easily by Kay. And because it was behind the net ball line, it's going to be a tap back on the 20. And he's allowed to take it as soon as the referee's in position. So he does. And of course, the new rule is that is the zero tackle. So 6 tackles from here. London could make a real, or rather Toronto could make a real impact here.
I don't think it is a zero tackle, is it? I think if it goes dead in goal out the back, isn't it? He caught the ball in goal on the full.
I was getting so excited there, Brian.
You once accused me of not knowing the rules, but I know them slightly better than you at the moment.
Crossley is just short of 10 metres inside that London half. Emmett now throwing a little dummy, and down he goes. 30 metres away. So under Brian's rules, 2 more tackles to go. And they go left. Oh, it's a shoulder charge. You've got to get the arms involved if you're going to throw the shoulder. And I don't think he got the arms involved.
Yeah, that's your Brisbane boy.
Yeah, Vega.
Trying to create a bit of impact there on Wallace, and it's not allowed now in rugby league, the shoulder charge.
Well, I'm just chuckling here because Jermaine Coleman, the Skolars coach, told me this week that Simona Vega is actually a calming influence in the team. You'd hate to see the rabble-rousers.
I'd hate to see the feng shui in his house if he's a calming influence.
Well, there is Jermaine Coleman, as we mentioned before, 3rd year as head coach here at Skolars, but he's been very much part of the furniture for the decade or so. As we mentioned in the build-up to the game, they have applied for a testimonial on his behalf to the RFL. I think they're still waiting to hear back, but you look at people like that who put real service in at this level, and you think, oh, deserve everything they get. So we'll await with interest to see what the official verdict is. Anyway, the verdict here is that Skolars are having to defend again because Laithwaite for Toronto. is pushing it in, 15 away. Bezic goes left, and the fresher legs of Crossley takes it in and offloads. Ball back for QLT, trying to dash away, manages to get the ball away. Crossley, he drops it down. I think London have made 4 tackles without one counting so far, and Bezic will get over by the side of the sticks. They just kept it alive and kept it alive, and eventually the gaps had to come. Bezic with the 4th. It's 22 points to 0.
Well, that's all the back of offloads from Togagai and Crossley. Ball twice in this play. They keep the ball alive. Skip, trying to find a hole. A speculator. Crossley back with the play, throws it back again. Bob Bezic gets there, very strong in the tackle, fends off the defender and ploughs his way over the line.
Well, the London boys are congregating by the side of the sticks. They were congregating right in front of the sticks, but somehow could not wrap that ball up and could not make a tackle count.
Well, it was Crossley. Bezic gets the plaudits for ploughing over the line in the end, but Crossley involved twice in that play with offloads, and the Skolars will quickly have to learn you've got to lock the ball up as well, and when you're defending your own line.
Just under half an hour played as Hall puts a kick over. 4 out of 4 from him, and 24 points to 0. The Toronto Wolfpack leading here. What a start to his Toronto career from Craig Hall. What's that, a try and 4 goals? He's the club's leading point scorer, Brian. 12 points.
In game 1.
In game 1.
Wow.
League points scorer.
That's Virgin
Delapi's on the field.
That's Virgin on
Urjon Delapi, the Albanian.
Stato heaven.
Again, another of those. We saw him at the London Broncos. Started at West London Sharks. He made his debut 3 or 4 years ago. I think a game against Warrington for London Broncos. So he's been at the highest level.
I think he's a really good player.
And the coach saying that if Vega is a calming influence, then maybe Delapi sometimes needs to calm it a little bit more than he does. But we'll see a bit of fire now, and there comes that Vega challenge again. All the flag is up, the touch judge is on from the far side.
I think it might be for Vega's impression on Crossley, was it?
Well, it's not getting heated, is it? Crossley doesn't seem too bothered. High tackle is what's given by Vega on Crossley. See if we can have a look at that. Rhys Jacks finds touch. So how do we find ourselves here? How bad was this?
I'm not sure it was that one. I think it was a tackle.
Yeah, it was the next one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with that. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oof.
Yeah.
Was there anything wrong with that? Anyway, it's a penalty given.
And more importantly, the touch judge thought there was.
Dixon's taken it to within 15 metres. Bezic stands at dummy half again. Emmett just to his right-hand side, and all that power again is not used. It's a simple soft pass towards Wallace, and Wallace trying to add some subtlety to the situation, but finding some good sledgehammer defence from Toronto again. Here comes Jacks. Quentin Lola-Tagagai riding tackles as he takes it in.
They did really well there. Skolars defence, muscled up, aimed up, stopped Tagagai out the back.
8.5 minutes to the half remaining before we're into stoppage time. Here comes Crossley. That's tackle 5. Toronto well placed here. What's the plan? Bezic left to Wallace. Wallace at wide, taken well by Worthington, whose pass away provides a real acrobatic finish from Liam Kay in that far left-hand side. You could hear the whoops of delight from these Toronto teammates for a fabulous finish for try number 5.
Unbelievable finish. They've ploughed away at the line. They've got themselves in front row. Wallace finds a speculator to Worthen, who steps Bichet, and fantastic finish from Liam Kay. Athletic dives. Remember, you can touch the corner flag if your feet are off the ground, and gets the ball away there, so it's immaterial whether his body touches the flag or not.
Yeah, I think even under the old rules, I think he'd have scored that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think the ball was down as he got there, but
Pretty
I think
good.
it just shows the attention to detail that wingers, centres, those people, full-backs pay now to trying to get the ball down irrespective of where their body position is.
Well, that's try number 1 of the 2017 league season for Liam Kay. He's a try-scoring specialist. A couple of years ago, he actually got 36 tries in the championship. So that's a division above this for Lee. So we know how good a finisher he is. Craig Hall has an opportunity to take Toronto to a nice round at 30. Toughest kick of the day, you'd suggest. Blustery win, but he struck it well enough. But he's just put it wide, so it doesn't count, and it remains 28-0 to Toronto.
Yeah, and value for the lead, you'd have to say that. Skolars are questioning themselves, but they're being thrown a lot at them, and they're doing a manful task. A heck of a lot of questions will be posed by this Wolfpack team as they go through the games, and that's the challenge. That's the excitement of this division and playing rugby league.
And you were saying before, was it you that was saying you bumped into someone from Tottenham Hotspur, four
That's
Tottenham
right.
Hotspur fans
Yeah.
here today? Who were here because?
Well, they came on the back of they've grown up watching the television coverage of rugby league, watching the Great Britain and Australia clashes. There we go, Crossley on the charge from a pass from Hall and another offload. But yeah, 4 Tottenham Hotspur fans saying we love that, we want to see what this rugby league is down at the Skolars, and great attendance here today.
Pretty much full in terms of the tickets they can sell. And the biggest crowd they've had here in the 20 years they've been here. Pitch is relatively new. They spent about 5 million recently on this pitch and other facilities. So they are terrific facilities. And they are being enjoyed by the Toronto Wolfpack at the moment as Bezic rolls in at dummy half again, and Jax comes in and looks for support and finds the offload for Sidler, who in turn will pick out Bezic with a little flick pass away, and Bezic is 15 out, and that's tackle 5. So here comes the last. QLT stands and waits. Crossley, now it's Jax. Jax goes backwards to Wallace, who's going to be caught in possession with a tackle, and they'll have to hand it over to the team in red.
And I think the challenge for the Wolfpack, clearly ahead here, is keeping their attention, keeping their concentration, tough games to come up, getting into a rhythm. Played on a quagmire last week, it's a different type of challenge last week, and now it's about getting their game streamlined and flowing.
Yeah, we're up to North Cumbria next week. Northwest Cumbria, Whitehaven, and there's a lot of rugby league tradition up there, of course, and I'm sure Toronto will be tested, but they've got to keep their focus on this, and they have head and feet at the scrum here for a forward pass.
I think he's adjudicated a forward pass, yeah.
Bit of blood on the face there of Steve Crossley as well, so they'll have to sort that one out before they can carry on. He's been around, hasn't he? Bradford, Dewsbury, Featherstone, Castleford. Bradford for the last couple of years.
He's a big lump of a man, isn't he?
Here's the forward pass out of dummy half. Yard or two forward, I think. Jermaine McColeman on the sidelines looking a little concerned as well. You might be if your side are trailing 28-0. 4 minutes to go before the break. Or 4 minutes before we're into stoppage time, I should say. So down they go, and here they come. The team in white will feed the ball and have it back again and immediately go down that left-hand side. Bichet was trying to read that and put a little bit of pressure, and maybe that was instrumental in some sloppy passing that has immediately given the ball back to the London Skolars.
Yeah, well, Worthington has not hit the mark there because he's beaten his man on the outside and had to find Kay, and he's thrown the ball into touch, and they're celebrating the mistake, I think they call that now, and saying don't do it again.
It's a bit of psychology, isn't it? Make your opponents feel even worse when they've made a mistake.
Yeah.
By celebrating.
Yeah. Celebrate the mistake. Yeah.
You don't like it?
I love it, yeah. I wish somebody had helped me throughout my career and given me a pat on the back when I dropped the ball.
I was going to say, you'd have had some celebrating round you, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
thank you very much, Buddy.
Wolfpack back with it. Lining up in defence here as the Skolars bring it forward. Some tough stuff going in the middle here. For our Canadian viewers again who are watching this for the first time, there's no pads. They're minimal if there are any. It is shoulder, shoulder, bone on bone, gristle on gristle, whenever they come together. No quarter given or asked, and now comes a kick downfield from Bichet. QLT, who can razzle-dazzle at times. Can he do it here? No, he can't, because he's well marshalled by
I think it was a
Pierce-Paul.
smart idea from Bichet early in the tackle count. Try and nail a 40-20 to restrict the physical prowess of this Wolfpack team, and just didn't quite nail the kick, but I would persevere with that if I'm the Skolars.
Bezic again down this blind side. Hall called into action. Defending is good from Matt Davis. Bezic, now Laithwaite, stepping off the left foot and trying to shoot forward. Quickly into his face. So Bezic, the general, once more, just hitches up his shorts and picks up the ball and goes left for Sidlow to have a go. And that's tackle 5. So what have they got planned on the 6th? Fui, Jacks, putting it high. Swirls a little in the wind. This is anybody's ball as it comes down. Crossley's taken it. It's another set here. Got a touch off a London player. So it's another set of 6. That's the 0 tackle, unless Brian Noble's going to correct me. And out it goes to Wallace. Offload goes to ground. It's a scramble for Kay.
Well, he did well there, Withers, because he'd actually dropped the ball. He got his hands back on it and shoveled it backwards to negate the knock-on.
Worthington, having beaten 1, can't beat numbers 2 and 3. Dragged down, 5 away. Bezic again, quick pick up from dummy half. They're going to blast the way over from Andrew Dixon. Dixon goes in for try number 6. It is a comprehensive first half from Toronto. They're over the 30 points already at 32 points to 0.
Well, smart play from Bezic again. He sees there's a defender down on the Skolars team on that right-hand side, and he's got a willing application here from... Here's where Worthington does real well and shovels the ball backwards to keep it in play and negate the knock-on, but that field position when the kick came back led to Worthington playing the ball quickly, sees a man down at dummy half. Bezic finds the extra space and Dixon just has to hit the hole. Smart player, Bob Bezic, as we've seen, and plenty of decisions for the London Skolars team to make there, and unfortunately they can't make the right one.
Well, as recently as 2010, Andrew Dixon was playing in a grand final for St Helens. Actually scored a try. They lost the game that day, didn't they, against Wigan, but he was a try scorer. So again, a taste of the pedigree that this Toronto side have. And Hall, if he carries on like this, he'll kick a few this year. 5 out of 6 so far today, and 34 points to 0. Toronto lead as we go into stoppage time at the end of this first half. A few minutes left to play, but stoppage time is reached. What's going through the minds of these London Skolars players at the moment?
But it's hard work, and they've got to find a way to get into the game. I think there are a couple of things that they can do to help themselves, and I'm sure Jermaine will give them those tips at half-time. They need the half-time, I think, to regroup. Yes, this is a good team that they're playing against. Yes, they've got some good shapes that they're throwing at us. What can we do to make an imprint into this game?
Here's Bezic, Crossley again, and a good, strong, honest drive by him that takes his side another 10 metres further downfield. Bezic to Laithwaite. Sign from Warrington in the close season. Was that knocked away by Lamont Bryant? Yes, it was. He's proclaiming his innocence, but the referee quite clearly saw that. Penalty given. They'll have to kick it again. Well, here's a strange thing, because the London defence have all gone back as if they were defending a tap, but the referee wants the kick taken again. So Toronto could just tap this. They've got 20 metres in which to run in the field, but they do decide to kick again. And the tap will happen 30 metres out.
Pick fault with... Do you want me to say that, well, they can still kick that 20 metres anyway?
Yeah. Moi. Look at this. Unstoppable. Unless he drops the ball, and that's what he did. And Lamont Bryan will pick it up. And there's a man left on the field as well here, Charlie Lawrence. I think he simply got in the way of Fui Moi.
He doesn't look well, does he? Let's hope he's okay.
Let's have a look at this. Moi with the drive. Somewhere in all of that, right at the start of that, Charlie Lawrence Just trying to act as a speed bump.
I think I might have. Did he hyperextend his elbow or his? Well, maybe looks like a lower limb injury, does it?
He's not comfortable. It's fair to say that looks a really painful situation he's in at the moment.
Maybe his ankle. He may have caught his ankle as he's trying to drag back, and let's hope he's okay.
There you go. Lawrence is the man number 9. And you see, he
falls ankle,
underneath, doesn't he? Yeah. So it wasn't actually in contact with Fui,
No,
was it?
No.
So they're getting plenty of treatment here. Well, we've already seen one man go, we assume, for the day. Dave Williams arguing all the way into the ambulance, as Aaron was telling us. And here, Charlie Lawrence, he just tripped over his own man somehow, didn't he, Andy Winfield?
And his ankle went underneath him.
And it's very, very painful. So they could be down to 15 for the day. 13 on the field, 2 interchanges at any one time, given the loss of 2 players to a serious injury. Ben Pointer is coming back on.
Wow, that's a fair reception committee on that carry.
Well, they're stepping it up in defence. Reminder, the clock you're seeing is the actual time since kickoff. It's not the official clock. We are very nearly 5 minutes into stoppage time. We've had lots of stoppage, so there might be a plenty to go yet. It's taken on by Robinson. And again, I mean, they're hardly making a yard here, London, because the Toronto defence is really quick. The line speed is so impressive. They've not gone beyond the 10-metre mark. The fitness here of Toronto right at the end of the half. 5 tackles inside their own 10 metres. All they can do is kick and hope. And it's caught by QLT, who will run it back and establish an attacking position right from the start here. He's not finished yet. The pass away for Pownall. And that's where they're going to start from here. So that's what happens when you defend well. You get a great attacking position.
Yeah, that's a lesson for our new viewers watching rugby league. If you can restrict the territory of the opposition with the 6 players that they get, you get the ball back in this position here.
Pownall with a pass away. Laithwaite is just tickling that try line, but he's going to be held up short. Bezic hurling it back. Jacks offers it inside. Sidlow driving it forward. They're desperately hanging on to him and the ball, making sure he can't get it away. Bezic again. Now, oh, it's an interception. Suddenly there's a chance for them to go the distance. Listen to the crowd now as Bichet takes it forward.
Go Bichet!
Whoa! The whole place erupted
off and they're on the way, and there's a penalty as well.
Simbinin referee. Andrew Dixon holding down, digging the ribs from Brian Noble. But I don't suspect there are too many who've travelled all the way from Toronto for this game here today, so a lot of North Londoners who were very thrilled with that little moment of magic there for the Skolars.
Very smart play from Bichet. Picked Bezic's pass off and just didn't quite have the legs, did he, to go all the way, being hounded by KM Pownell screaming back, and got a great opportunity here though, the Skolars.
Here's Delappy, John Delappy, 15 away from the Toronto line. Is this a moment to lift London Hearts ahead of that half-time hooter? Little step back on the inside. He's still stepping here. Ben Pointer, and he's got a pass away. Pierce Paul on that right-hand side, hauled down, only 5 out. Hurled back towards the middle. Bichet, the man who started it. Away it comes from Davis.
Never gives in, does he, Davies? Pounding away at the line.
Given away, though. Given away. And Toronto survive that moment of pressure. Look how much stoppage time we've had at the end of this first half, but that is as far as we go. 6 tries for Toronto. Hall opening things up in the 8th minute. He's landed 5 goals as well. So it is all going very, very well as far as Toronto Wolfpack are concerned. A brief flicker, not the least of them, towards the end there from the London Skolars. But it is the Wolfpack who have absolutely dominated that first half. A lot to think about for the Skolars as they troop off. That half-time score of London Skolars 0, Toronto Wolfpack 34. The first half of their first league game, and it is all going very, very well. Let's go down to the touchline. Aaron Murphy is down there with the Toronto skipper, Craig Hall.
Craig Hall joins us now live pitch side, and first off, congratulations. It must have felt good to put that ball down, the first league try for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, enjoyed it. I thought first 10 minutes we just had to calm it down a bit. You know, everyone's come out excited, but as soon as we got into the rhythm of the game, you know, it's going well.
It's a physical affair. We've seen a couple of serious injuries to the Skolars. Talk about how you guys are feeling out there. How are the lungs and legs?
Yeah, pretty good. Obviously, there's an advantage for us. We're a full-time team. You know, we've got a pretty fit squad, so hopefully with this next 40 minutes we can kick on.
Captain's message in the dressing room between the two halves?
You know, just keep patient. We've had a few offloads that we hadn't really needed. If we just stick to what we know, keep it simple, we'll be sweet.
Thanks for taking the time, Craig. Good luck the rest of the way.
So Craig Hall disappears. His side are in control here, 34 points to 0, and we've got full analysis coming up in just a few moments' time.